Take a seat, crack a cold, let the tales unfold. In the world of banter, where laughter's never old. Wasted wagons rolling on through the night. With each sip, the story takes flight.
Welcome back, Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagons podcast. With us here tonight, we have Todd, Russ, Pat, and myself. I'm Travis. And this is the second episode in a row here that we have kind of like a little skeleton crew, if you will. And I know a few of y'all met last week and recorded an episode, and we're going to kind of pick up where y'all left off from the last episode. So,
Mike.
Mike has no more comments about the Branson Big Backs?
Sean. Biff.
Okay.
Now, Travis missed last week. Travis, would you care to explain to us why you missed last week?
I was getting more work done on my tattoo sleeve.
Is it finished yet?
The coloring is finished, but I still have one more session to go to get the Star Wars character on my arm colored in.
So when will it be done completely?
By the end of July.
So not December or anything like that?
No.
We were trying to take guesses on when it would be done and how many more sessions you had left. I don't remember what Todd said.
I don't even remember what I picked.
I think I picked Christmas this year.
I think it was you that picked Christmas.
Yeah.
No, it was another coloring session done on the filler, and from what I understand, that part's actually done. But I did schedule another appointment for late July to get the final piece colored in for the Star Wars character Bosk that's on the sleeve. But then after that, I should be able to take like a nice long break from tattoos and save some money.
Does that exist? Do people take breaks from tattoos?
Like, well, when you start looking at how much it hits your bank account, yeah, I think you can. But some people don't. Like, some people are absolutely addicted to it to the point where they don't want to stop. But,
Well, I mean, the coloring does look really nice on it.
Will you go back at some point down the road and get more tattoos, like be on another arm or something?
no, I think I'm done. I think this is it. I know I've probably said that before, but like I think from this standpoint, I think I'm good where I am, and I think from here on out, it's just getting my current tattoos recolored just so if they look fresh. But yeah, I don't see me adding anything else.
So no continuing down the whole arm and doing like a full sleeve.
No, that was never really part of my plan. I wanted to do a half. Now, I did say like maybe if there's if Carson came to me one day and said that he wants to go get a tattoo and would like me to come with him on his first time and get something too, I would do that, and I would think of something that I had somewhere else. But no, full sleeve was never part of my plan.
What about Scarlett?
I would do the same. I don't know if she would ever do it, but maybe.
Camden already has this idea that me and him are going to go on his 18th birthday and get Clone Trooper helmets. He's going to get Rex, and I'm going to get Hunter.
Oh, that's awesome, actually.
It's a cool idea. But
Approve.
Will he follow through with it?
Yeah. So similarly, like Carson has made comments about, and again, keep in mind that he's already 13 and has probably already grown out of the idea of Pokemon, but he had mentioned the idea of, okay, well, I'll go, my first tattoo, I'll get a Gengar, and you can get a Gyarados, and we'll both get Pokemon tattoos. And I said, all right, whatever you want. If you decide, I'll get something that matches you. I don't know if he'll stick with that idea because he's kind of already out of Pokemon, but, who knows.
Well, I mean, we have this Myrtle Beach. Wow.
Damn, is there a frog in the room?
We have this Myrtle Beach travel ball trip.
I thought that new door was supposed to keep pests out.
The new door does look nice.
It does look nice.
Mm-hmm. Philip Prado at the Door Doctor.
Shout out to Philip, the door doctor.
But continuing on tattoo talk, Camden's travel ball into the season World Series. Thanks, Pat. Is coming up in Myrtle Beach, and we had his end of the year team party yesterday, and one of the dads on the team he's got a bunch of tattoos on him, and he was saying that him and a couple other guys are gonna go get just little small bangers, in his words, while we're in Myrtle Beach, because you may only be in Myrtle Beach one time, so he kind of asked me, he's like, yeah, you got some ink, do you want to come? And I was like, I mean, there's some small tattoo ideas I've kind of kicked around, so it's a possibility, but I usually like to use my trusted artist rather than going someplace that I don't know.
True.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you were you done getting tattoos?
Mm-mm. No, it's just I definitely want more. It just, I mean, they're not cheap, so it's a matter of time of saving up money, I guess, when I'm gonna go again. With all the vacations that we've had planned, it kind of drains your bank account a little bit.
Well, I know during our last episode, y'all talked a little bit about our Los Angeles trip that we just went on. Todd talked about the trip draining bank accounts, and I'll agree with that, and that's why I need to take a break from getting any more work done on my tattoos. So I'm curious as far as like what kind of things that y'all have talked about. What kind of things would you like me to add in on it?
I mean, I basically talked about everything we did. I don't know how much into detail I went, but I mean, I kind of like in Sean fashion, I kind of went through it day by day what we did.
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway I'll add from it is, and I was talking to Russ a little bit about this when we were at Port Orleans earlier, which we'll get more into later on the pod as well. My big takeaway, like, we've all been to Disney World. They have the 4 parks there. Disneyland only has 2 parks. They have the Disneyland park, and then they have California Adventure. And Todd may have mentioned something about this last episode, but I wasn't a humongous fan of Disney California Adventure Park, and it was my favorite. I mean, it was my first time ever going. We went to Disneyland probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and we only did one day there and did the Disneyland park, and that was it. And I left at that point thinking that it was more so, like Six Flags-ish. Like a lot of the workers there didn't give off the same vibe. Like they didn't necessarily look happy. They weren't out there to make sure the guests.
Oh, that's right, please.
Yeah, they weren't out there to make sure the guests were like overly happy, overly satisfied. That was 6 years ago. My opinion has changed a little bit from Disneyland, but California Adventure, I feel like there's way too many carnival style rides. Like I feel like there's like if you go to
And did the employees look like carnival employees?
No, I mean they just looked like college age kids. They didn't look like they were like people going like. I mean, again, I know a lot of the ones who work at Disney World are college age, but they're doing it on internships because they actually really want to be there. I think the people at Disneyland are more so part-time job, like, okay, I'm leaving my shift here and then I'm going to class, or I'm leaving my shift here and then I'm going to do this, or maybe even working 2 jobs. And my big complaint again about California Adventure is that it's mostly like there's a lot of carnival style rides. Like you like if you go to an old, Todd and I are old St. Mary Magdalene, rest in peace, alums. And when you would go to their fairs, you would have like the yo-yo, or the swings.
They had the yo-yo,
and they do have the yo-yo there.
Tilt-A-Whirl.
I was like, Tilt-A-Whirl was out
No,
there.
They didn't have a tilt-a-whirl.
No Tilt-A-Whirl.
Like a scrambler.
They have a
something
Ferris
like
wheel, but the Ferris wheel is fucking huge. Like it
that.
slides.
It's actually legit.
Yep, they have a big Ferris wheel. They have a kind of like an outdoor drop tower, but they're kind of look like jellyfish. So yeah, I mean, like their whole boardwalk area is kind of like carnival style themed, and then their Incredicoaster, which is a great ride, is just essentially a big wooden roller coaster. I mean, you do go into like little tunnels that have like nice little moving pictures where you can see characters from the Incredibles movie, and they do have an upside down part that's nice. But that's my big complaint. Like, there's a lot of carnival style rides there. There's only like 3 or 4 big rides, so the lines get extremely long for those 3 or 4 rides. So, like, yeah, you can go wait for the carnival-style rides and get on them pretty quick. But then, like, the big rides, you're waiting. If you don't have the Fast Pass, you're waiting for over an hour usually. And Todd probably shared this story with y'all in the last episode. The closing ride that we went on before we left the park, we went on the Tower of Terror ride, which is now Guardians of the Galaxy themed, and it's really cool. It's got a different track and everything. Like, not even, how, like, Splash Mountain changed to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and they kept the same track, but they just changed the animatronics up pretty much. This one, they didn't keep the same track. It's just basically, again, Rocket Raccoon is shown, his silhouette or a shadow is shown ripping apart the top of the elevator, and then you just instantly start going up and down. Like there's no forward movement like they have in the Tower of Terror. Great ride, but we waited probably for a full hour and a half before we got on the ride. And meanwhile, that was right after dinner. Todd decides to drink a couple of beers while he's at dinner, and then
and probably about 3 glasses of water. It was hot.
And then we get into line, and then by the time we were getting very close to the ride, Todd has to piss so bad that like you can see him like squirming, grabbing his dick, like, and he's obviously very uncomfortable.
I didn't mention this part.
Obviously very uncomfortable, and it's kind of making people around him uncomfortable because we could see that he had to pee. So anyway, we end up getting on the ride off. Todd runs to the bathroom. All is good, and the ride was fun. But point of it is like there's only a couple of really big rides, and you have to wait a really long time for it. And that was if you don't get the fast pass. So maybe the fast pass was the way to go in that park. But again, not enough Disney style rides for me. Like it was a lot of just like cheap carnival style rides. But then you shift over to Disneyland, and Disneyland is, and I've probably shared this before, it's smaller park, but it's got rides on top of rides. It's like there's so many rides crammed into like a small park that I don't think we waited longer than a half an hour for like any ride we stood in. It was great, and we didn't have a fast pass. We went to Rise of Resistance first thing in the morning, got on there pretty quick, and then from there it was just like clockwork, going on rides and not having to wait a long time. And I didn't really get that vibe I got last time where it was, I felt like the workers were pretty pleasant. I didn't feel like they were disgruntled or anything like that. So a big takeaway from there is, Disneyland Park is really good. I wasn't really that pleased with California Adventure per se.
And it's disappointing to hear about like the workers. And you said that that's something that improved for you. But like one of the best things about Disney World is how like immersive it can be. Yeah. And usually the staff, I forget what they call themselves. They're
Imagineers,
cast members.
Cast members. Yeah, they're not like workers. They're cast members. They're usually like very much in character and always pleasant to be around. So that's like disappointing to hear that happened. But good to hear that you had a better experience this time. Yeah. But speaking of immersion, so since everything's on top of each other, I've never been to either of those parks. Mm-hmm. Do you felt like the immersion aspect you're taken out of it because everything's on top of each other, or?
No, I mean, and actually, Todd and I, when we were leaving, this was at the the last day of the trip we ended up going to. They still call their Disney Springs area downtown Disney District, which was what Disney Springs used to be called. And we were leaving, and I was asking Todd, I was like, well, now that this is the last thing we're going to be doing on this trip, are you feeling, the same way you feel when you leave Disney World? And he said, no, but at the same point, you do feel a little bit of it. Like you're still leaving, Disney, but you don't quite get hit with that same negative feeling like when you're leaving Disney World, like, oh shit, I got to go back to work, tomorrow or the next day, or this is depressing.
Well, I think what I explained on the last podcast is that with Disney World, it's so vast and you have so many resorts that you can stay in. And it's like I enjoy waking up, eating breakfast at the hotel, and then getting in line, going to the bus to take you to the parks. You don't have that at Disneyland or California Adventure because the resorts are just right there. I think the only Disneyland resort is attached to the California Adventure Park, and it kind of leads right into it. Whereas the one we stayed at was what they call a neighboring resort, and it was across the street. So, I mean, there is no bus. You just walk.
Yeah, and I thought our hotel was very nice. It was very close. But the big negative is there was no breakfast at the hotel. There was no complimentary breakfast. So it became, walk into a McDonald's down the street or walk into an IHOP down the street. And then the parks being right across the street was a plus. But, that's extra added expense that you weren't really banking on right there. We've talked about downtown parking at a lot of the places we've gone being a problem. Well, this was an extra added expense that we weren't really banking on, was just the fact that we had to pay for breakfast every morning, But look, that was my big complaint about the Disney side of it. Let's see, we went to some good breweries. I was telling Russ about this one earlier. We went to one called Villains. Villains had a really cool theme. Like you walk in and they have a bunch of horror movies, all over the place, like little props from the movies everywhere, paintings on the walls. of Jason, Freddie, Chucky. The problem with this place was that it was very seltzer heavy. Like I can't pick out a beer from that place that I loved. And I don't come on here and slander breweries by any stretch, because I think the atmosphere at this place was phenomenal. The wait staff needed to get their shit together, because Todd's father-in-law ordered some nachos, and it took like an hour and a half for the nachos to come to the table. And we had to keep reminding him, like, hey, we ordered some nachos, but
didn't we also have like 3 or 4 different like waiters and waitresses?
It was almost like the first waitress changed shifts, and then you get another one come in, and then they replace the second one with another guy who ended up being our final waiter. It was kind of a mess. Like, they didn't have a whole lot in order. And again, my big knock on it was like maybe I've heard this. I don't know if y'all have, that the younger generation of why breweries aren't experiencing as much success as they were a couple of years ago is like the younger generation isn't very beer heavy. Like, they're more into seltzers and whatnot. And that's why a lot of breweries are not surviving nowadays.
I think the THC drinks have also put a pretty, not a big hurting, but affected it at the least.
And speaking from inside the industry, you're absolutely correct. THC seltzers and seltzers in general has caused a big decline in total sales for wine and spirits brands, just because the younger generation does not drink nearly as much as our generation does. Part 2, they're now switching to canned, to-go, readily available, easily to carry and transport THC seltzers and just seltzers in general. There's more flavor varieties. So if you're not a big drinker, but you still want something that maybe tickles a certain palate, they have a lot of options. Like, beer, generically speaking, beer tastes like beer. A lot of these seltzers can range all over the place, from like the aroma, the floral notes and things like that. So yeah, but the industry in wine and spirits is down, and a lot of the takeovers become from seltzer, THC, and then also just the younger generation not drinking nearly as much as our generation in the past.
So even delving deeper, I know up until pretty recently, the regulations have changed, and people were going to bars and buying just one drink and getting completely obliterated, or whatever the equivalent is of being drunk compared to being high, and just then they'd be good. So like, you're spending $5 on a drink and staying there for like a couple hours. I mean, your bartenders are suffering at that point. There's far less product being sold because of that, but the regulations changed. I think they can only sell up to 6 milligrams, I believe. 5. 5?
Yeah.
No, look at that. And like I said, I can't even remember a beer that I had there to write home about to say it was really good. I did finish off the night with a seltzer, just because there were so many seltzers on the menu that I just decided, like, okay, well, I'm not seeing any beers that I really want to try. So I ended up getting like a Blue Hawaiian seltzer, and it was decent. Like, it wasn't, but again, I'm not a huge seltzer fan, so it was good for a seltzer in my opinion, but like, I came there for the beer.
Mine was a Tang seltzer.
Tang seltzer?
Tang.
How was it?
It was pretty good.
Okay.
But like I said, like, seltzers don't really do much for me, but I guess as far as seltzers go, it was pretty good.
And his mother-in-law had the same drink, and she seemed to like it too. So, I mean, and maybe from a marketing standpoint, it's a big thing. Like, if you know that the younger generation is coming in and that's going to be your clientele, maybe make it more seltzer heavy. But for old heads like us who like to, travel the country to go check out the brews from different states, that was probably, of the 3 breweries we went to on that trip, probably my least favorite, even though it had the coolest atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely.
So another one went to, first day of the trip, we went to Golden Road Brewery. This one was, the big perk of this one was like, it was right across the street from Angel Stadium. So like, literally you have the road, Golden Road on this side, Angel Stadium on this side. They also validated parking. So if you paid to park in their parking lot and went and got some beers, it was $20, whereas I think you were probably paying like $35 to go pay for the Angels parking. So it saved you like $15, and it was right across the street, and you had to get some good beers. The big one that I liked over there was the red ale that they had.
Yeah, that was definitely the best one.
But again, the huge perk of that too is it was just like so close to the game. It was like you can go slam back a couple beers and not have to worry about driving. You can go into the game kind of tipsy, just cross the street.
And I think I mentioned this one last week too. Joey Lahat was on one of our guests on the podcast, and he said his go-to beer is Mango Cart. Mango Cart is made by Golden Road.
Yeah, which we didn't know. I
didn't know that until we got to the brewery.
So we saw a Mango Cart on their menu, and then we were kind of like, oh, they must be like a partner. They must partner with the brand that makes Mango Cart, because you're not thinking Golden Road out of Anaheim is shipping shit to Louisiana and selling it almost everywhere, but they are. So they're the people that actually make Mango Cart, and that was a nice little pleasant surprise. Again, saved us on parking. Again, the red ale was really good. And the big perk was that you were able to walk right across the street and go watch the game a little tipsy. So, and then the last brewery we went to, again, Todd might have talked about this one too, Angel City, that was out in L.A. So we went to two that were in Anaheim. Both Villains and Golden Road were in Anaheim. And then we went to L.A. The day right before we went to the Dodgers game. And we went to Angel City Brewing. And Todd might have mentioned this, but this one did it right. Like, it was big. Like, they had a partnership with Truly. So like when you walk in, you can go into the left, and they had like a whole little seltzer area that was sponsored by Truly, and then you walk into the right, and it's the brewery, and they have all these beers. Mentioned this to Russ earlier. My favorite that they had over there was a coffee blonde, and that was very good beer. Todd said that their regular blonde ale was his favorite. I think we actually even bought a 4-pack of that. Bought a 4-pack of that, brought it back to the hotel. So, and it was very big, very spacious, good atmosphere. They had a bunch of props from movies in it. Just really cool, I guess, to kind of go with the whole Hollywood vibe. Really cool experience there. So if you're in the LA area, Angel City gets a A+ from us. That was about it. I mean, if I had to look at the two baseball games we went to, I mean, I thought Angel Stadium was. I mean, I know Dodger Stadium is Dodger Stadium, and a lot of casual fans would probably think we would say Dodger Stadium was better. I liked Angel Stadium better. $25 tickets, better seats. The money that they put into the place, even though it looks a little dated, still looks a little better than Dodger Stadium, which is crazy to me.
I did mention that last week, how I feel like that both stadiums were very, very dated.
Yep.
I think the cool part of the Angel Stadium is that they have like the whole waterfall thing going on in center field. They have that car sitting out there. I don't know if that's for like auction or somebody can win it or whatnot, but it's like sitting on the grass, like on the side of the waterfall. Then we also got to witness, I think, the catch of the year that the A's center fielder mentioned that as well. I can't think of that guy's name.
Yeah. He's
on the A's, so I mean,
I think he was Bo. I think that was Bo and Josh Naylor's cousin. I think his name is Denzel something, and he made a catch.
Hell of a catch, man.
Denzel Clark, and he made a nice catch over the center field wall.
Camden was actually watching a YouTube video this week on like some of MLB's greatest catches, like historically, and that one like started it with as number 10.
Yep, very, very nice. And of all the games we've been to, we've never even come close to catching a foul ball.
He asked me about that.
The foul ball actually comes and it hits his mother-in-law in the arm, and then Jessica actually gets in the back of Jessica's seat and she grabs it. So first time we've ever even come close to a foul ball.
I was explaining to Patrick how I felt like a dick for not like diving and like trying to like block the ball from hitting. I mean, obviously it was me, Jessica, her mom, the father, and my father-in-law. But from what I looked when it came up, it looked like it was going to fall like way in front of us, and so I didn't even think it was going to hit us.
Yep. I mean, I was from where I was a few seats over. It looked like it was going to fall the row behind us. So like again, it's just different from whatever seat perspective you have. The ball is so high in the air, you don't really know. And I guess I'm sitting there watching it and thinking like, okay, well, maybe we have a shot at this, maybe we don't. And all of a sudden, it just plops, 3 or 4 seats down from where I am, and I'm like, holy shit! And I didn't even see it hit Jessica's mom. I just saw it land in the back of Jessica's seat, and I was like, oh shit. But first time we've ever even come close to a foul ball at a baseball game, so that was pretty cool. And I know they had, Camden had made mention of writing the hitter that hit it, the pitcher that pitched it, and the date on it, and pretty cool experience with that.
Well, he has yet to do that because sitting on the dresser in my room right now.
Yeah, the big takeaway from our discussion about that last time was that Todd's a jerk for not protecting his mother-in-law.
Well, I mean, it would have been. I mean, I would have had to dive over Jessica to. Shit. I would have had to dive over Jessica to block the ball from hitting my mother-in-law.
But think of think of all the heroics and all the praise you would get for being the protector of the family and the man and catching that foul ball and protecting your mother-in-law.
Yeah,
Could have got some brownie points.
Let's not forget her husband was sitting right next to her.
that's true.
So,
I'm assuming she was okay. Like she didn't injure
it was
herself
just a
or
brush
anything.
burn.
yeah, she had
Okay.
like a little mark on her arm.
It's merely a flesh wound.
But yeah, it was and maybe Todd mentioned this one last week too. Maybe one of the bigger surprises of the trip because I didn't, I'm a big itinerary guy and I did not even think that this was part of. I didn't even think that this was part of what they actually had there. But we go hike the Hollywood Hills, and we end up stumbling upon a Funko factory in Hollywood. So we end up stumbling upon Funko Hollywood.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a big big Funko shop, and they end up we end up stumbling upon that kind of by accident. And we're like, oh shit! Well, since we're here, we got to go in, and all the kids enjoyed it. The kids actually made a pop of themselves, which was pretty cool. They pretty much any of the modern pops that are out right now, they pretty much had. So like any of the ones, like if y'all are pop collectors that you might have had on your list of ones you're looking for that are in circulation right now or in the store, depending on what genre you at. So that was a nice pleasant surprise too. Well, today is what June 28th, 29th, something in the ballpark, 29th. Mm-hmm. But 4th of July is coming up towards the end of the week. What does everybody have on the agenda for 4th of July?
I'll go. I'm okay there, bud. I will be going to Houston to see the family. My nephew's birthday is in mid-June. My niece's birthday is in mid-July. So this is kind of one of the first few weekends I can get away to kind of maybe do like a combo celebration in one. So I'll be out of town for that. I'll probably grill with my brother-in-law and my nephew for the family, for the house, and just enjoy that. But nothing too crazy. More honestly, I'm probably going to hit up the same thing, a couple breweries again. Maybe do a little bit of bourbon hunting. I don't know, but yeah, yes, Russell.
Yes.
Go bourbon hunting. Okay.
All right, so when you say breweries, are you sticking with like Brash, or are you maybe go to Saloon Door? Which ones are you thinking?
I'm definitely going to try to hit Saloon Door just because, not that I'm not tired of equal parts or Brash, but just to get more variety and maybe see some more beers that are on tap. And I've only had Saloon Door beers in can. So to go to the brewery and actually try something on tap that may not be distributed in can, I'm definitely going to do that. And there's a couple other breweries that I've been to before that I would like to maybe try again. So yeah, hopefully maybe sprinkle one new one in, try an oldie, and then obviously go back to Brash and or Equal just to see what's available.
When's the last time you've been to like Carbach or one of those places?
I haven't been to Carbach.
Carbach's like facility is really cool. I've been there one time, but they have some pretty solid beer.
Yeah, they do. I guess I haven't gone back to Carbach just because it's not. I don't want to say generic, but
I would agree if you did say that.
But the beer's more readily available than others,
yeah.
So I could get a decent selection of their products. Most grocery stores in Houston, or some even here. So that's why it kind of never really crossed my mind to maybe go back. Although it's a really cool facility, though.
Yeah, I guess it's like not as special because of how readily available it is.
I've not been to this place called Cidercade, which is like a huge arcade that also does brewery. My nephew goes fairly frequently. I just have not had a chance to go and check out that place. But every time I've seen photos of it, it looks really, really cool. So I think if I get the chance, maybe I'll do that. I just haven't looked at maybe where it is location-wise from where my sister lives.
Yeah, if something like that was down here, I'd be going there all the time.
Sure.
What about you, Russ? What do you have planned for the 4th?
Nothing like, I guess, official, or my official plans are just to bounce around, go to friends' houses who have pools. My buddy Brett is invited me over, so I'm definitely going to go over there. He's got a nice little pool in his backyard, and a ton of our friends are going to be there, so it's just going to be a real chill, nothing crazy. probably drink some bourbon. Try and come over by you at some point. My whole family goes. My aunt lives in Baton Rouge, and she's got a pool, so like most of my family goes up there. I'm not sure if I'm making that trip yet or not, but yeah, pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, I think all I really have planned is, I guess, everybody's welcome if they're don't have any plans. But I'll be hosting. I'm not gonna hosting a party by any stretch, but anybody that wants to go swimming is welcome to come by the pool and do some swimming. I might barbecue, depends on how many people decide that they don't have any plans and want to come. But yeah, that's all I really have planned for that.
A quick aside for our listeners. I'm not going to get into details, but just know certain things do run in the family, and the twins both share a problem.
Yep. I know. We'll get to Todd in a second. He's having a moment.
When he recovers.
But we brought up the idea of, since we're going to be talking about 4th of July, and Ty can get to his 4th of July plans in a second. But we discussed, since we're talking about the holiday, that we'll kind of bring up like what are our favorite holidays, and we'll go from there. So Ty can kind of talk about his 4th of July plans and then lead into his favorite holiday. But I guess we can all start as far as that. Pat, do you want to lead us off with what your favorite holiday is?
Ooh, I wasn't really. Even though I think this might have been my idea, but I wasn't just prepared to 100% delve deep into the list. I think I've said it before, and I think Christmas.
Are you starting to keep track now?
No, I wouldn't do that to you. Let's go with Thanksgiving is probably my favorite. And I've expressed kind of why. The food. The gluttonous food and eating, the all day sports that are available. It's just what could be better than just chowing down on good food all day and night, followed with a bunch of sports all day and night. And most people have the day off afterwards, so you get to recover a little bit. And then, hell, the leftovers are still pretty damn good too. So I would say probably Thanksgiving. 4th of July, probably top 2 or 3 for me. I enjoy a good America celebration. Okay. Put on my jorts and get some something red, white, and bluey, and just be patriotic.
Okay. Does any of your 4th of July love come from being in Houston, going to some breweries, things like that? Or is that usually all holidays for you?
That's usually all holidays. If I'm in Houston, I'm going to go find a brewery. So that should be like a holiday by itself. I really wish. Okay, it's not a holiday, but it's a New Orleans holiday per se. Mardi Gras.
Not of course.
Yeah,
that's got to be kind of a holiday.
It's a big party.
Yeah. It's a holiday.
Okay, sure. It would be in the list too. Christmas is always cool because obviously you get to do the gift giving, and as you get older, and you've kind of talked about this before, it ends up being about the enjoyment of the gifts that you give to other people and seeing their excitement, and that is like probably more fun than whatever gifts you receive. But yeah, Christmas is always cool just to especially for me. My Christmas gifts that I've been given are usually things that I want, but I don't really want to buy myself, or I'm not pressing to buy, but someone would just get that for me. So it's very thoughtful in terms of what I get, and it's definitely something I can use and whatnot. So Christmas is fun, especially with having, they're not young anymore, but my niece and nephew, seeing them get their gifts, and my niece's daughter, watching her open her presents. I get that reinvigoration of joy of when I was a kid getting gifts on Christmas. Now watching my niece's daughter get all these gifts and open up her presents and play with them, and actually getting to build them as the cool uncle is probably my biggest thing. So yeah, Christmas is in there, Mardi Gras, Thanksgiving probably number 1, 4th of July top 4 or 5 as well. Yeah.
So I'll piggyback off of what you're just saying, because like instantly, Christmas, Thanksgiving is like a easy go-to for me, just because of the food, the atmosphere, like being with family, the food. I said that twice just because I like to eat a lot. But you hit the nail on the head with Mardi Gras. I feel like that for me, it encompasses like everything that I love about all different holidays, because it's not like a big food holiday, but I have like very specific traditional foods that I'll eat during Mardi Gras season. I'm sure everybody's familiar with like getting Popeyes like before parades and whatnot, and it's such, I look forward to it every year. And then I'm getting together with people I don't typically hang out with, and then just a ton of enjoyment, big party. It's one of my favorite times of the year. The costuming is a huge thing with it, and I actually love to costume, whether it be at like a Comic-Con or some kind of party. Like Mardi Gras is just top notch for me, and I also enjoy riding. Riding is a lot of fun. Trying to get into Toth, hopefully eventually do that. I haven't ridden in a while, but Mardi Gras is probably my number one, followed by like Thanksgiving, Christmas, purely because of the food aspect, and then going into like gift giving again, like seeing somebody receive something that like I took time to figure out what are you gonna like. Like we're all adults at this point, and we make money. Like I buy pretty much everything that I want when I have the opportunity to. So like getting surprised something, it doesn't have to be expensive, but just like this is a really thoughtful gift and makes me happy, makes the other person happy, and then vice versa.
Well, Todd, are you ready to talk? Do you want to go into your 4th of July plans and then lead into what your favorite holiday is?
Sure. They're done, Patrick, so the little dings can stop.
Oh, I didn't do anything.
I was going to suggest a counter on editing, soft little voice. 1.
Hold on. We'll get to that later. I got some plans for people that routinely do things that keep showing up over and over and over again. So we'll get to that later.
So I'm going camping for 4th of July. And this is going to be the first time I've ever been to, I don't even know what the name of the park is. It used to be called Jellystone.
It's Yogi Bear now, yeah.
It used to be a total dump. We used to, we camped a lot at the place that's literally like a couple minutes away it's called Sun Outdoors now. It used to be called Reunion Lake. And that place is actually really nice. It's expensive. It's definitely glamping, you're not really roughing it camping. It's like a paved lot with a pool, swim-up bar.
There's Wi-Fi.
Swim-up bar at that one? That's nice.
There's a swim-up bar, there's a lazy river, there's an adult pool, there's a kid pool. I mean, all the amenities there. The beach volleyball court, cabins, the lake that they used to have like the giant inflatable thing that they called the Whibbit. I think now all you can do is like kayak and what's the board that you stand on? Paddleboard. You can do that as well. But I've never been to the Yogi Bear one, but we're going to be leaving there on Wednesday night, and we'll be coming back Saturday.
Are you going paddleboarding?
I don't even know if they have that at this one. I've never been paddleboarding.
Are you doing any water sports? Or are you into water sports?
I used to do the Whibbit. Is there a reason why you're asking that?
This park has like all these water amenities. I'm asking.
Well, we used to do the Whibbit with the kids, and it's like basically a big inflatable obstacle course. Mm-hmm. So you can climb the wall, you can slide down like different slides. There's like the lily pad things you can go across. But they didn't. I think they lost it after Hurricane Ida. So I don't even think they have that anymore.
Yeah, it was just a simple question. Water sports, yes or no? Is that your thing?
I've never done it. No, okay. I've never done canoeing or paddleboarding.
Any plans to do it? Maybe.
I mean, I would do it. Okay. But no, my favorite holiday is Christmas by far. And I think it kind of centers around what Patrick said. I like the family aspect of Christmas. I mean, I don't necessarily care about getting gifts. It's more so giving people gifts and spending time with family. I mean, Christmas is always surrounded by multiple family parties.
And those shrimp and mirlidones?
Well, that's Thanksgiving.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
But that's probably the best part of Thanksgiving. So, Mom, if you're listening, there's been an empty tray of shrimp and mirliton sitting on this table for 3 years now, 2 years now.
We'll have to ask her to make some for us this year, and like really hold her to it.
But if I had to pick a second favorite holiday, I always enjoy Halloween as well. Sean's Halloween party, I like picking out a costume for that. Me and Jessica always go as like a matching pair. I usually kind of make a running list in my phone, and we kind of decide from there what we're going to do.
Yeah, look, I'll piggyback off of that then. Like, I feel like Halloween to me comes in at number 2. I mean, I know it's not really even a holiday because most of the time we come in and we have work the next day for Halloween night. But for me, the holiday is actually going to Sean's Halloween party. And like Todd said, I enjoy the aspect of really putting in a lot of effort into my costume. I think Heather and I have already kind of decided which one we're doing this year, which is going to be really cool. And like Todd said, we like to go as like a pair and kind of match. So that comes in at number 2 for me, just in the sense that I like the creative aspect of going to Sean's party. Now, like, my kids are getting to the point where they don't really even want to trick or treat anymore. So like that part is kind of dying down. And again, we don't have off of work the next day or that day usually, depending on if it's a weekend. So that aspect kind of sucks, but I do like the idea of the creativity of creating a Halloween costume. And be honest with you, I'm 41 years old, and I don't know if I'll ever get tired of that. Like, I think I always want to dress up for Halloween and do that. And hopefully somebody will always host a party. You know, good time to get together with friends and drink. And you know, when we're not podding, I think that's another good opportunity to just get together as a group of friends and have fun. But I would also agree, though, that, you know, I could think of number 3, underrated holidays, Thanksgiving. I like the idea of getting together with family and just eating a shit ton of food, and then having a week off of work is always good. But my favorite would also be Christmas, just in the sense that you're off of work for 2 weeks. It follows up with New Year's, which I don't give or take New Year's, but I like the idea of getting off of work for 2 weeks and being with family. And like Patrick mentioned, I don't care about getting gifts anymore. I think it's more so the idea of giving to other people and watching their reaction when they open gifts, especially ones that they're not expecting. You know, ones that you put a lot of effort into and you said like, oh man, I know my son or my daughter is really going to like this, or, you know, a friend or family member is really going to like this. And then, you know, watching their expression as they open it, I think that is really what makes that holiday so special.
Quick piggyback, and you brought up New Year's. Has making New Year's resolutions officially died as a thing people do?
I think it has. I feel like I don't even hear about that anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, back in the day when, like, let's say, I mean, maybe like 10 years ago, like people were like, oh, what's your New Year's resolution? What do you want to do or accomplish or work on, whatever this upcoming year? And I think my reply, and it's kind of Scroogey, was always like, I don't need a specific day to start doing something. Like, granted, yeah, new year, fresh start, sure, whatever, okay. But I was always like, why can't I just make that change anytime I want, or when the time is right or whatever? I don't need the start of a new year to officially try to motivate myself to do something or be better at something or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I feel like it's turned into a joke because the more common response will be like, my New Year's resolution is to stop doing New Year's resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say they died, but you still, if you go to the gym on like a Monday in January, it's usually pretty packed. So maybe, you know, for us, we look at it as kind of dumb. And I've never really made New Year's resolutions, so I can't really say I've ever partook. But I do think a lot of the people who don't exercise regularly, you still use it as, okay, well, come 2026, I'm going to start hitting the gym. And then that first Monday of the new year, you're going to see a shit ton of people in there, regardless of what time you go.
Quick aside here. But first of all, yeah, I think maybe it's more so like the vocalizing of having New Year's resolutions has kind of died out and going away. Because I guess so much stuff is now put on social media for the attention and the fame or whatever like that, so you don't see the New Year's resolution nearly as much, even though that would still be a very social media influencer thing to do. I just don't see it nearly as much, even online or in person, people talking about it. But going back to the gym and New Year's resolutions and things like that, Todd, Travis, did y'all know that you're in the presence of a gym beast / bro in the making?
He did tell us that earlier. He said that was something that he
was planning on going to the gym after the brewery today.
So after slamming back a couple of brews, he was still going to hit the gym.
He decided not to get a flight because he was going to the gym.
Yeah, I only got a 10 ounce. I didn't even get like a full pint.
I am so glad that Russell did not go to the gym today, because that would mean I would have had to go in with him, and I was not in shape to go to the gym. I would have toughed it out and done it, but it certainly wouldn't have been my best effort. But so just recently, Russell signed up for like a 7-day free trial at my gym. But you've been working out at home for a little while now.
Yeah, for a couple months now, actually.
Mm-hmm. And Russell, I don't think he'll mind me saying this, I'm not really breaking any fourth wall or anything like that. Russell's a person, when he gets into something, he like head first dives in and will completely commit to it. Look no further than his bourbon addiction. He went from in less than a year and a half from no bourbon to, let's say, probably over 35 bottles ish,
Roughly.
something like that. Either way, a large amount of bottles, and then going bourbon hunting while he was out of town in Houston. And then calling me and texting me like, "Hey, I got this. You want this? I'm finding all this. I'm going to go check out this store. Where is there any place I should go look for?" And here and there. And I'm like, "What's this animal we've created?"
There was a conscious decision made because I didn't get in touch with you, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna get 2 bottles. If he doesn't want it, I'll have 2 bottles."
So let me get this straight. So if we brought Russell to let's say a Comic-Con or something, and then he buys a couple of figurines,
Please no.
Is his house as a bachelor becoming like the 40-year-old virgin?
I don't know how deep he'll get into it, but I definitely think he will then start seeking out some figures that are important to him or that mean something to him, or maybe that kind of touch on his from his youth or whatever. He's definitely someone that will probably commit to something and then go all in on it.
Let me just say that I'm all for it, Russell. So if you end up coming to a Comic-Con with Todd and I, I'm all for starting a new craze for you.
But I'll let him speak on this.
Okay, let's go.
So when he started working out, you have a little bit of a home gym setup that you're working on. Or
Yeah,
a
I have
couple
those,
items.
those little Bowflex choose your weight dumbbells, a bench, like a TRX, just a couple of things, treadmill.
But what really solidified to me that he was possibly going to be a gym bro and maybe not a meathead, but displayed characteristics of a meathead. He starts texting me, the text went from bourbon to, "Hey, protein powder. Hey, pre-workout. What's this? What's that? Do I need this? Do I need that? I bought this." And then next thing you know, he's got 4 or 5 different protein powders, a couple different pre-workouts and stuff like that. And I'm like, holy shit, this dude's about to be a meathead. I love this for him, but
So I texted Pat the other day right after we went to the gym. I was running. I forget what I was going to do, but I wasn't running late. I was just crunched for time. So I get home, I had to shower, I had to show up somewhere. So I actually made myself a protein shake and I drank it while I was in the shower. Yeah. And I got out of the shower. I was like, God damn it, is this what my life has come to? And I texted Pat and it's my ascent to the brodom has started.
I knew it had started when you started texting about certain protein powders and asking about differences between certain things and talking about workout routines and set reps and stuff like that. I was like, oh man, this dude he's about to be in it.
Let's go. I'm excited to hear this, Russell.
Gym is life, bro.
Hey, we can all go hoist together one day. See if we can get a 4-person bro lift in one day.
Do some supersets.
The wasted wagons hit the gym. The wasted wagons go to Kronos. The wasted wagons go to YMCA.
Yeah, we definitely need to go to the YMCA to experience all that has to offer.
Yes, we do. We need. You have 2 different time frames here. You can go early in the morning so you can get distracted by the blue hairs and watch them cram the lobby, or we can go at whatever time Tide goes to see the grandfather clock show his balls.
But there's 2 different times in the morning. You can go first thing in the morning when they open at 5, and that's when you can pretty much get anything in the gym because you have the select few people that go bright and early, do cardio, the couple of weights, and then go hit the lobby. Then you can go at 9 o'clock, and that's when you have the crowd that wants to come talk to you. So if you're looking to get a good workout in, prepare to have your workout interrupted.
Prepare to be stopped.
I want to go all 3 times. I want to go in the morning, do some cardio or something light, one body group, then go back at 9 after I've taken a little bit of break, get some protein shake in, and then hit it up again. And then I want to come back for the grandfather clock experience in the afternoon.
Yeah, what time is that, Todd? What time is the grandfather clock hit you up in the locker room balls deep?
Well, that was when I used to bring Cam into baseball. So that's when he had practice at 6. So it was probably about 5:30.
Ooh,
perfect.
The after work crowd.
That's what I was about to ask.
That's not a good time.
How do the benches look at Kronos at 5 o'clock?
Russell?
So we went right after work the other day. The gym's definitely smaller than that of the Y because I used to belong to the Y back in the day. But there might have been 7 people there in total. We had no problem doing everything that we wanted to do.
Might have to look to switch to Kronos. Fuck.
It was
5 o'clock at the YMCA.
Yeah, I don't pay a goddamn thing at the Y, so I'm not switching.
It's broccoli head time at 5 o'clock.
The gym itself is definitely nice. And the thing that's going to push it over the edge in comparison to other places, we sat in the sauna after our workout, and that was really nice. Like, I want to be able to do that every time.
We all wearing
Fully clothed.
just towels,
No,
No,
fully
we were
clothed.
fully no.
Yeah.
fully nude.
No, fully clothed.
It's just, I mean, and I get it. You watch saunas on the shows, like everybody loves Raymond and whatnot, and guys are completely naked with just a towel on them. When I would go to the sauna, when I was a member at Elmwood, I would actually go in a full, basically sweatsuit, because I would just basically be going in there to sweat, And so
So
I
we
know some
did-
people going there to relax, but I was going in there just to kind of cut excess water out.
We did have somebody walk in just
Travis
a towel.
wanted people to think he was a UFC fighter.
I'd go lay in there. I'd just go lay on the ground and act like I was tormented. And,
No, he had shorts on under his towel.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I
just
couldn't
just a
remember
towel.
if he had shorts, but he walked in with just a towel.
I mean, I'm
and
not
it
saying I was looking, but,
it was
you know.
funny too because like he starts staring at me, and I happened to be wearing one of my old kickball jerseys.
Nerd.
And
It's like, hey, weren't you that asshole that bullied me on the wrestling team?
he looks at me. He's like, I know you. I'm like, all right. And then we get to talking, and it ends up being one of my old teammates' older brothers, and so we ended up shooting shit with him the whole time, and that was pretty cool. So hadn't seen that guy in like 8 years.
that's not what I thought the story was going.
Yeah, no.
No,
I thought he was going to start spraying some oil on his chest. And
He started
rubbing
rubbing himself. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to bring that up about this individual and certain things about him. Let's just leave that off air. Nice guy, though. Let's say
Yeah,
that.
super nice guy.
But yeah, so I don't normally work out in the 4:30, 5 o'clock range just because I know the gym is usually pretty packed, like most gyms are at that time. People get off for work or whatever. But that was the best time for us to go. So that was probably one of the maybe first or second times I've ever worked out in the 5 to 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock range. And yeah, like he's also said, that's the big draw to this gym for me is it's rarely ever crowded. There's like the 9 o'clock weeknight crew is there, but it's all like 4 or 5 dudes. None of them are really meatheads. But usually anytime I go, whether it's 9 a.m., 2 o'clock in the afternoon, after 6 or 7, rarely is there more than, say, 6 people. So most everything I want to do is available to me, and I can get my workout in a pretty timely fashion and then get out, and it's not a problem. So though it is expensive, it's 24/7, but that's the big draw that's probably going to keep me there for a while, is that I can go at almost any, and what I now know is any time of the day, and not have a crowd to deal with, which is unlike Planet Fitness per se.
But like the idea that you just said you can go in uninterrupted is the biggest thing, because like I think that's the big draw that Todd and I have at the Y. Yes, Todd's wife is an instructor over there, so he gets to go for free. But at the same point, it's very rare that you have a workout that goes uninterrupted. So I think that's key.
We didn't interact with like anybody. I mean, just
I mean,
a
if
casual hello.
If you go bright and early, like 5 o'clock, there's some days when I'm not wasting my time trying to go after work, so I'll go at 5 in the morning. And there's a couple of older guys in there that you'll wave to and say hi, but then I gotta come talk to you.
Yeah, no big deal. Just get up at the crack of dawn and go work
But
out.
the 9 o'clock
So,
crowd, the 9 o'clock crowd, there's at least 3 people that are that you got to keep your eye out for.
Would you like to name names?
No names.
I want to say there might be 3, 4 blue hairs in that age range that I see. Thankfully, none of them, other than one guy. One guy will work out, go in the shower, and he'll like put his tidy whities on and get dressed, like put on like work, like dress clothes to go to work. He is about as blue hairy grandfather clocky as I've ever seen.
Grandfather Clocky.
Yeah, most everyone else is about our age or a little bit younger. So they're more respectful. They don't really have that I don't care fucking attitude, because they kind of care and respect. But the equipment's nice, the facility is nice. They just redid it. Like Russell said, the big draw is they added a sauna.
Where is it?
North Arnold,
Yeah, it's
right by
it's in Fat
Drago's.
City. That's actually the parking lot I parked in when I went to the Los Jefes end of the year school party for where I work.
And
Because that was the only place that didn't have signs that said we'll tow you if you're not a member here or you're not using this.
And I think the funniest thing about it is you pull into the parking lot and it looks packed. Because what's a small parking lot, right? There might be 15 parking spots per side, but it looks crowded because it's full. But most everyone there is going to the wellness center, because like they do like wellness clinics, or like you can get like vitamin B shots, or like do like skincare and things like that, Botox, yada yada yada. If you want to get, they do Ozempic and things like that as well too. But a lot of people you see at park, they go in, they pick up their prescription or whatever, get whatever done, and then they leave. So like when you walk into the gym part, there's like 3 people there. The parking lot looks full, but there's no one really in the gym part. So it's a little deceiving, but then you get your pleasant surprise when you walked in.
A lot of people might be just using their parking lots for fear of getting towed.
Maybe, but there's a parking lot across the street that people use for like I guess the employees. So you can kind of have a secondary parking spot, but it looks crowded, and the gym is rarely ever crowded itself, though.
That's good, though. I'm glad to hear that Russell is, moving into a healthier lifestyle and becoming a gym bro. And
As long as he doesn't start talking about dry scooping his pre-workout, we're gonna be okay.
and then when it comes to the fantasy draft pool party, he's gonna be nice and jacked in a couple of months. So.
Yeah, wearing all his his chubbies
Chubs.
with no shirt on, just looking low, just ripped up.
His
That's
big
right.
quads sticking out.
That's what got me to go back to the gym. I couldn't fit in my chubbies, so I had to start losing some weight.
He's gonna be talking about gains and the right time to eat whey protein versus casein and shit like that. So I'm excited for this new Russell.
Man, me too. All right, so we just got finished talking about 4th of July, and with the 4th of July always comes the hot dog eating contest. So today we went over to Port Orleans, and when I say we, let's talk about Todd, Russell, myself, and Sean, who's not with us today. And Sean participated in I think it was called the wiener slinging contest, which where you tie a rope around your waist and you try to thrust a wiener into your hot dog, into your mouth, or glizzy into your mouth. Sean had a couple of good attempts there. Like he came very close. One even actually hit him in the mouth, and he said he wasn't able to close his mouth in time before it fell out, and so he was unsuccessful at winning. But it was definitely fun to watch, and we'll definitely post the videos on our Facebook page and X page.
Does he fuck like he wiener swings?
I think he was utilizing some of those skills for. Nope. He was definitely utilizing some of those skills.
It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
I think that's a question we'll have to ask him when he's here in person.
I appreciated his technique because he was getting like a slow swing on, and then he would like try and chomp down at it and like bend forward, and like it was very theatrical, for lack of a better word.
Did it turn you on?
But then he was bucking at sometimes.
I found it interesting though that there was 6 contestants in this competition, 5 males, 1 female. Go figure. The female was the one who actually won. So but
I think it was a little controversial.
It was a little rigged because she swung it to where it actually wrapped around her shoulder into her armpit, so it kind of swung right here. So she was able to reach down and grab it, which is to me not the way the rules of the competition went. But they decided, I guess it went on long enough, and they decided to end it with that. But
Yeah, I think it went on longer than the 5 minutes that they thought it would have taken.
I mean, come on, you've watched Just Go With It, right? In the coconut contest, where they can't use the hands, and Dave Matthews picks it up with his ass.
Wait, what?
Go on.
Y'all never seen this movie?
No.
Just Go With It. It's the best Adam Sandler.
We know Pat's an Adam Sandler hater, but that is one of his greatest works.
So should this be the first movie that we review?
Oh, good point.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
But
that's my favorite Adam Sandler.
I mean, I don't
movie.
even have to watch that one. My kids watch it all the freaking time. So anyway,
That's fine. I'll submit to this Adam Sandler movie, but you know what I'm gonna hit you with that you have to watch, and probably you too, Travis, because
I
apparently
don't think Travis has seen either of those.
yeah.
So.
So
I think it needs to be back to back.
okay.
yeah, back-to-back weeks. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Both of the movies that Travis needs to watch.
Yeah.
So what are they?
Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, I'm willing to watch them. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna come home. I'm not a humongo Tom Cruise fan, so. Damn, dude! Like, you really got to get this thing pest controlled.
That was aimed right at Patrick too.
What did I do to you? It smells like you had a lot of protein today.
But yeah, so Sean was unsuccessful in his wiener slinging event, and then myself, I entered the glizzy eating competition for the 3rd year in a row, and I believe I finished probably 3rd for the 3rd year in a row. And I actually felt like I had a really good technique this time. Like I decided to remove all of the glizzies, hot dogs, wieners from their buns, stuff them all in my right hand, and then I smashed all the buns in my left hand. and I decided to mold those into just like a phallic looking object, and I dunked that in water, and I would alternate. I'd take a big bite of the 6 hot dogs at one time, then a bite of the bread. By the time the winner had won, I had my hot dogs completely finished, and I had about half of my bun phallic object complete.
Just the thought of eating like 6 hot dogs at one time without a bun is it's unappealing to me.
Well, getting the wieners down shouldn't be that bad. So six back to back, not terrible. It's the bread I think that's gonna really do you in.
Well, I had one of the guys who was actually the guy directly to my left won, and then the guy 2 over to me, and he came up to me at the end and he's like, "Man, I thought you had that one. You had a really good technique." And like I was like, "Look, man, I thought so too, but I just couldn't get all that bread down." And meanwhile, like the guys who win, like it's strange because they don't really have a technique. They're just kind of going at it one hot dog at a time, and they're just, I don't know. It's almost like they have a good gag reflex where they
loosen up their throat muscles and shit.
It's almost like they can stick half the hot dog in their mouth, swallow, stick the other half in, and they go. Because the guy who
Bad
won
practice.
the returning champ was actually there. So the guy who won last year was at the he was on the right side of the table from me, and I kept looking at him. He was the guy who I was trying to gun for to kind of keep pace with him, not even paying attention to the guy directly to the left of me, because I'm looking at keeping pace with the
whipped ass.
Well, I'm keeping pace with the returning champ, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. He's still down, and I'm pretty quick, but I'm keeping pace, not realizing that the guy directly to the left of me is actually ahead of me. So anyway, proud of myself for competing, and I think this was probably my best year of almost winning, but still fell a little bit short. So.
Where did you come up with the technique? Were you like studying like different ways to eat like last night?
I think from losing the past 2 years and figuring out like what made me not win in previous years, I decided to try a different one. And I was like, all right, if I can get these dogs down and then maybe focus on the bread last, maybe that'll help me. And I think for the most part it did. But again, somebody was a little bit quicker. So another failed attempt.
What when you sent in the text group that you were debating if you were actually going to do it or not. What was your apprehension about maybe wanting to enter this year? Just getting tired of it, or? I mean,
it's a lot. It's a lot of sodium. Like I don't want to. I try to watch what I eat for the most part. I knew I was gonna be drinking today, so I've been pretty good about my diet this week, and I was like, you know what, I really don't want to do this, but then. The guy came out to me and he's like, "Oh, I know you were here last year, the past couple of years. You want to do it again?" And I looked at the list. There was only 2 people on it. I was like, "Okay, whatever, I'll do it." But I really wasn't going into it with the idea that I was going to do it today, and then just decided to do it and strategized from there. And said, "You know what? I think at this point, I think that was my game plan going in. I think I was like, you know what? Once I decided to do it, I was like, all right, I'm going to just take the hot dogs off the buns, eat those in one hand, and then the buns in the other, and go from there." But it wasn't successful, but it was close. No. All right. So one thing I do want to talk about is we talked about our LA trip earlier. We're actually, I don't know if you guys are aware of the timeline. We're approaching July. We went to St. Louis for our first time wagons taking the wagon to St. Louis almost about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
What was the wagon? The train or that red fucking van?
It was supposed to be the train, but I think the van kind of...
Or was the wagon the Airbnb host?
Did you say the Airbnb beast?
Oh.
That was a wagon.
Mm-hmm.
That was a wagon.
Bob, what you got to say about that?
But what I like to do, and if we go way back in time here, I think I was talking to Russ about this one earlier too, is I think this was before Russ really became part of this pod. We had an earlier episode where we went around the table and asked, what do we consider ourselves the GOAT of? And my response was, I'm the GOAT male scrapbooker. So, I come home from my LA trip and I realized that I've been to, this year, Cleveland, Cincinnati, if you even want to include Columbus in there, plus this LA trip. Then we go back a year, St. Louis, and then the previous Easter we went to Baltimore and DC, and I've been slacking on my scrapbooks. So I figured, you know what, the summertime's hit. I got the summer ahead of me. I'm gonna go knock out a couple of scrapbooks. So far, what I've done this summer is, while I'm sitting at home, I've actually completed the pages of a Baltimore, DC, as well as our St. Louis trip from about a year ago, and the scrapbooking. The only thing I have to do now is add some stickers to the pages, and they will be done. I'm actually really quite excited to show you guys when it's done. But I guess the most enjoyable aspect of it was putting it together and kind of reliving a lot of it. You know, that was the most, and that's really the most enjoyable aspect of doing it. Like, I like the finished result, but I think just being able to look through that and just being able to relive those moments is the most enjoyable aspect of it, and that's why I like it so much.
Do you have just one scrapbook, or do you have multiple because you have so many things to do?
I've got multiple.
Okay.
If I had to give a guess, I probably have about 10 of them.
Okay.
And then, like, I don't devote one whole book to one trip. I'll usually do, because each book is 20 pages, so I usually do like 10 pages per trip. So the St. Louis trip is going to be 10 pages, and so to have all the pages ready, just have to put a little stickers, some stickers on them and finalize it, and then I'll be glad to show you guys when it's done, and y'all can see why I consider myself the GOAT of scrapbooking.
What since we are coming up on the 1 year, I guess, anniversary of that, what, just off topic, just a quick thing, what was one of your favorite things from the trip that you remember? Outside of the train ride, even though we had fun, I think some of us had the most fun on the train. Outside of the train ride, what was one of the most the one
Are
of
you
the
talking about the van ride or the train ride?
Both.
the train? You can't say the train.
But the text messages on the van kind of was like a good starting point for that trip.
That would be top 5 for me. The text message from inside the van was probably a top 5.
Specifically about the convict that was also in the van with us.
Yes.
So look, if I had to pick one thing, and I don't mean to steal Todd's if this was what he was going to say, because it was his idea, but the St. Louis Miniature Museum was fucking good.
That was so much better than I could have imagined. I thought it was going to be bad, but
Dude, it was like $5 to enter,
Yeah.
like super cheap. That you didn't have to pay to park. We were on the street, and so we didn't. That was another place you didn't have to pay to park. It consumed probably 2 hours of our day, and I mean it was. You ended up stumbling upon creative things that you wouldn't have seen, that you wouldn't have thought you would have seen. I thought that was a nice find. So that was a nice, pleasant surprise on the trip. So that was a big plus.
I actually wasn't going to say that. I mean, it was like, I mean, I wasn't expecting much from it. I was like, oh, look, miniature museum, this could be pretty cool. But, some people obviously have some fucking kinks that you wouldn't have thought would be included in a miniature house. But
Well, that's what I meant. You find some unique things that you didn't expect to see.
We listen and we don't judge. Remember that.
that's right. I mean, I've got my own personal kinks.
Really.
We know.
But I was going to say, I think the 2 takeaways I would say would be the Armory, which I think was a great find.
Yep.
We don't have any place like that here. I mean, I think there's places that may be kind of close to it, like maybe like Pickles and Pens, but the Armory just had everything. I mean, it had every adult game, every child game you can pretty much think of. Plus, they had like 6 bars that scattered throughout the place. Mm-hmm. So, if you needed a refill, it was at arm's length away. So it was just a really cool experience. You could play putt-putt, you could play ping pong, you could play pickleball. They had 2 floors. They had the giant pool table with the soccer balls. I thought that was unique. Mm-hmm. That was a really cool find. And I'm also going to say Heavy Riff Brewing was another one. There's so many good beers there. They had good food there. It wasn't even one that was at the top of our list, but it was my favorite brewery of the trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of times it's the way it ends up working out. But I would say that was my favorite brewery of the trip as well. And to piggyback off of Todd there, I'm kind of the itinerary guy, and I think what I originally had planned for that day was go to the zoo in the morning. If we had time, go to the St. Louis History Museum. But by the time we had spent so much time at the zoo, it was kind of like, all right, go to the brewery and see what else we can do. And it was actually Patrick who brought up the idea of the armory and ended up being like a super nice find. So I agree with that.
I'm glad you brought back up the zoo because that was actually really fun for me. I think I walked in and I managed to find a place that was selling margaritas. So I just started slamming some margaritas or multiple margaritas while I was in the zoo. And I just had a great time walking around, like ragging on people, animals, and it was.
And Russ got to see some penguins.
Yeah, I did get to see some penguins. Yeah,
I actually made sure that I included a penguin in the
Good,
scrapbook
good.
for Russell. So.
I appreciate that.
What about you, Pat? What do you think? What was your favorite part of that trip?
Let me pivot first and say I think the nicest surprise that I got was the miniature museum. I was probably the least, not that I wasn't interested, but I think relative to everyone else, I was probably the least enthused about doing it. I was like, all right, it might be cool, but I also thought it was gonna be like a 5-10 minute show or whatever experience and we'd be done. I could have spent another hour in that place just looking into more detail of everything they had. So that was really cool. Okay, so we can't say the train ride. I'm going to say the entire 2 to 2.5 hour experience of the van from.
Wait. So we can't say the train, but we can say the van.
It's so funny because we look at that and as miserable as we were during that time to say like shit, we have to fucking cram into a van with a few strangers and trust this guy to drive us at 3 o'clock in the morning, trust our lives on the line.
After a 12,
It was an 11-hour train ride,
yeah.
which we stayed up during.
I think Travis should print out the text message thread and put it in the scrapbook.
Please, if you still have that, I would love a copy of that entire text thread. But for me, that was probably the most smiles per minute I had the entire trip, from just the realization of holy shit, we're not getting on a bus or like a big like limo type van. We're getting into like a 15-person regular Chevy van.
Every seat filled.
Yeah. So that
Overfilled.
that was one. And then we're getting on with strangers. And then it's raining. And then we realize that one of the passengers that's accompanying us is a freshly released convict. And then to get all piled up in the van with the kids and then drive 2.5 hours in the middle of the morning at like 2 o'clock in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the morning, drive 2 hours in the rain to survive that. But it felt like the text message group was more like a therapy session to help deal and cope with the situation we were put in. And just there were some great one-liners in it. But if I can't pick the train/van experience, I would say probably the Armory is number 1 or 2. But then just to be at the baseball game with you guys, but above that, probably the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Because obviously I'm a Cardinals fan, so it was going to be a win for me no matter what. So probably the Hall of Fame, the game itself, and especially when we got to see for Russell and I, some of our friends who moved from New Orleans to St. Louis, to see them and hang out with them for a bit and see Mr. Bob kind of just enjoy his time there.
Yep.
Was great. But yeah, if you could just give me the text message brigade that we went on the van ride, I would say that'd probably be one of the best.
I got it. I'm reading them right now. This is all through the
All
whole trip.
you have
though.
to do is reply to it right now and just say hi.
Yeah.
And it'll pop back up on our phones as St. Louis.
One of them, I'm saying the guy in the store is giving me shit for wearing my Dempster jersey, and Travis says, "Tell him to fuck off."
There was also the Todd having to go take a shit when we got to the halfway point and stopped.
Oh yeah. I don't think anything came out either.
No,
That was the best part.
Yeah,
He's like, I didn't even do anything.
that's not a surprise. But the idea of it being a 2.5 hour ride, and the text I think kept us to where it didn't really feel like that for us. It ended up going a lot quicker just because of the idea that we're texting. And let's not sell short the idea where you mentioned Bob. I mean, just the idea of like when the day was done and we got to go back to the house and just chill as a unit and just have fun with each other. And to be honest with you, we went to an Airbnb in Cleveland. And it was not nearly as nice as this one. So the idea of how nice this Airbnb was, how spacious it was, and the idea of just doing it with each other was great.
Yeah, we ended up playing what games?
Oh yeah, I brought my Switch. What did
Yeah.
we play? We played the Jackbox games.
Yeah.
We played a bunch of little
That
mini
was
games.
fun. Like Mr. Bob, like he thoroughly enjoyed that whole experience too. Just hanging out, watching that. The Airbnb was super nice. We cooked at the Airbnb one night. That was a lot of fun.
I was about to say that. Even though we went and ate at a few restaurants, I think that was probably the most enjoyable dinner that we had. Was back when we barbecued at the house.
And that was the way we closed out the trip. So it was,
And
it was
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the arch. That was fun.
Yep.
A little terrifying for Camden and Carson to experience getting like with the heights and whatnot, but getting up to the top, like it'd been probably 10 years or so, if not more, since the last time I went to the arch. But just to re-see everything again and look out the arch over the whole city and into the stadium was a experience. But last thing, where would you rank getting a parking ticket on as a group, quote unquote, in your top 5 or in your list for St. Louis Adventures?
not even close. So if I would say that would be right above at the bottom, but it would be right above the St. Louis airport.
I would have to agree with that.
So if y'all remember, y'all got through the TSA pre-check really quick, and Todd and I almost missed the flight because we were waiting in the regular line, and they kept letting people cut in front of us. That was pretty miserable. But yeah, the parking ticket and the airport were the only two unenjoyable aspects of that whole trip. To tell you the truth.
It wasn't our fault.
No, I certainly don't blame y'all.
So with this discussion coming to a close, like where's our next trip? I mean, if you remember the top 5 vacation destinations that we selected, most of us had Seattle in that top 5. So would Seattle be a favorable trip for all of us to go on?
Yeah, I mean, I would be okay with that. Another one that comes to mind is staying in the state of Missouri and hitting Kansas City. That would be another one that would come to mind as a wasted wagons trip. But I do agree with Todd. I think a lot of us had Seattle in there to where it would make a lot of sense. That one would definitely have to be probably a flight though.
Yeah, for sure.
Or Arizona.
Yeah.
I would like it to be, if we can all agree on a place, I would like it to be a place that maybe has a hockey team.
Yep. Okay.
So maybe instead of night seeing a baseball game, or if we can do both, that
would
even
be
better.
great.
What about Utah?
See the Mammoth.
Yeah, I would just vote for it when we discuss that, to do a place that has a hockey team.
Denver.
That's fine.
I was going to think that, but I didn't want to put my bias. We've done one of my team's trips already. It's on location, so let somebody else add. So no, I don't want to say Vegas. No, Seattle would be one of my top 2 or 3 choices. For a city that has a hockey team, a baseball team, and elsewhere is really cool, that we would probably, I think, all want to go to.
Yeah, Seattle would definitely be up there for me. And there's definitely other stuff within that state that I would like to check out. I don't know if I would just extend the trip or if y'all would like to join me in doing the wine stuff, but that would be awesome.
Wine,
yeah.
Look, I'm
Or we could always go to wine country and catch a Sharks game.
I mean, that sounds like a fantastic trip.
We could, but I don't want pissed off Todd at some point because your team is getting like just dismantled by whoever.
That
No,
sounds
I'm gonna say
enjoyable
this.
for us.
I'm pretty optimistic about the Sharks' future because they have a bunch of young, talented goal scorers. I don't know on the defensive side and goaltending, but I think we got a good core group of guys that are going to put points in the net.
Yeah, the big thing is, are they going to call them all up at the start of the year and start rolling with them? Because they got 2 of them already, but then you gotta put them all together and start having them play now. But
Over under 45 wins for the Sharks next year.
that might still be an under.
I'm going to say over.
Ooh, I like the confidence.
I think in the next 2 to 3 years they'll be good.
So forgive my ignorance, but how many games are in total? Is it 90?
82.
82, okay.
Well, I mean, that's a good segue into how we felt like our team's drafted. All I have to say on the Kings is I wasn't happy about them trading one of their defensemen. He was actually a pretty offensive defenseman, in Jordan Spence. He was actually my daughter's favorite player on the team. So I wasn't happy about that move, but they ended up drafting a first-round defenseman, which ended up being, I guess, his replacement. To say like, okay, we're going to trade him, but we're going to draft this guy as his replacement. But
Scarlett actually picks a favorite player. If I asked Grayson what her favorite player was, she'd just go.
Yeah, she didn't seem too happy because she was like, I got his shirt. Now it's already now I already can't wear it. I was like, okay, well, that's just the way sports work sometimes, Especially when you're on Olivier, that's definitely the way sports work. But no, I think that is a reasonable discussion to have for our next, our next trip to talk about maybe planning around hockey instead of baseball, or both. Well, we just talked about a future Wasted Wagons trip and a past Wasted Wagons trip. We understand that one of our wagons here at the table just recently got back from Cancun. Russ, would you like to tell us about your trip to Cancun?
Yeah, so recently went to Cancun, and the reasons why were one of my cousins, his daughter graduated from high school, and part of her graduation gift was you get to choose where you want to go on vacation. So she got to choose, or she ended up choosing, she wanted to go do an all-inclusive in Cancun.
Okay.
So, and they gave her the option to invite some friends, and I think she got 1 or 2 friends to come along with her, and I think their families actually joined us as well. But then they started inviting family members and coworkers, and it turned into this really large, I think we might have had 18 people in total on this trip.
Oh, wow.
And man, it was a ton of fun.
Oh, good.
We, just from the start to finish, it was just fun nonstop. My biggest complaint was, unfortunately, the facility that we were at. I've been to a couple all-inclusives at this point, and this one was just not up to par with everything else I've been to. It was the Planet Hollywood in Cancun, and it was just so disappointing from the drinks that we were being served. It wasn't like an alcohol thing, because you don't want to go to these places and get plastered and have people drunk all over the place. They were just bad. They didn't taste good. The margaritas, something you would think would be good in Mexico, sucked. I wanted to go drink a bunch of margaritas, and I couldn't because they were terrible. The facility itself was dirty. The pools, in the lazy river, it sucked. The facility had a ton of stuff to do.
Did they have pubes floating in the water?
They had nasty shit.
Odors?
The main pool, didn't get cleaned at night. I don't understand.
Bruh.
You would go up to the pool, where the steps and where the lowest flow would be. There would be crud and crap and hair in the corner. Maybe some pubes. Who knows? There was sand everywhere. I mean, they had signs up, wash your feet or, get the sand off before you get into the pool. But it was kind of gross. Didn't let it bother me. I mean, I still got in the pool, still got in the lazy river, enjoyed myself. But yeah, that was just really disappointing. And then the other biggest thing, one of the coolest things about all-inclusive is the food that's, you don't have to pay for it, or, pay for it to start.
Right, yeah.
But every single restaurant, this facility was huge. All the restaurants, there was 7 of them, had maybe 16 tables in them. So you had to get a reservation for every restaurant, which isn't uncommon, but we weren't able to get reservations for the restaurants that we wanted to go eat at, even days in advance.
Oh, wow.
So that was really disappointing. I ended up lucking out. I would just go to some of the restaurants and wait for somebody to not show up for a reservation. If you're 10 minutes late, they would just let you take somebody's reservation. So I got to go do that. But yeah, it was so disappointing, having to go, feeling burdened, trying to I need to eat and I can't find a place to go eat.
Yeah.
So there was one food buffet hall where you could go 24/7, or it wasn't 24/7, but you could get in no matter what. But yeah, it was such a downer. But I mean, we didn't let that bother us. We had a great time. We did a bunch of activities with the parties. There was a foam party. There was a silent disco we tried to go to. We didn't get to. But yeah, it was a great trip. I just wouldn't recommend the place that we went to.
Okay. Now, with 18 people, did you experience any friction with any of the people within your party at any point?
Surprisingly, no. The age ranges were from, I think, 12 all the way to 70. So we had a very large age group, different age group type of people. So sometimes we would split off and do our own little thing. Me and the younger crowd, yes, I'm putting myself with the younger crowd, would go out at night. And there was a club that we went to a couple times that was a lot of fun. Oh, which brings me to another disappointing thing. There was one beer that you could drink on the entire property, and it was like Dos Equis, which I don't have a problem with Dos Equis, but yeah, I got really tired of drinking Dos Equis.
Dos Equis did finish last. And,
I mean, that was like when we went on our honeymoon in Jamaica. I mean, the only beer they had was Red Stripe.
Yeah, I wish I had just would have had. So there was one other option. I got a Coors Light at one point, and it was at this club, but I went to go get another one. They're like, "We're out." What the hell?
but we do have Dos Equis.
Yeah. So
Did anyone get sick and drink the water and get sick?
nobody got sick from the water, but my cousin, well, I guess she's my second cousin that we were there for, definitely stayed out too late one night and threw up everywhere in her hotel with her family one night. And it's a story. I don't know the full details because I wasn't there, but they give her a lot of shit for it.
Okay, that's more acceptable. Like, if you're out partying, hey, you're YOLO living it up.
Yeah.
You're the reason you're
Yeah,
on
like
vacation.
no one
yes,
disrespected her for that. It was kind of just like not inevitable, but like it happens.
It's just you always hear stories of people go to Mexico or anywhere down there and they drink the water not knowing that you're not supposed to. You drink bottled water only. Even if you take a shower, don't get the water anywhere in your eyes or your mouth. And I'm always curious of just people who get caught up with that.
I'm not sure about this facility, and I'm assuming it's the same because nobody did get sick. But all the ones I've been to before if you're not having bottled water, it would be like filtered water. It wouldn't be the water that's just like on the not the property, but like from Mexico. Like
Right.
It would be some kind of filtered water, and like it's always been safe to drink.
Yeah, that's usually okay, but people forget sometimes like the ice is made from
Yes.
some of that water, and
Yes.
that's how they get sick. And like, oh, I didn't drink water, but well, your drink had regular water turned into ice in it, and that's how it happens.
Then the Montezuma's revenge starts.
Well, I am glad to hear that you didn't have any friction with a large group of people. 'Cause
That was one of the best parts because, like, yeah, that's like almost inevitable when you have that big of a group. Something's going to go down. Someone's going to get pissed off and say something, and just that didn't happen. So it was really nice.
we're familiar with that from the St. Louis trip that we just got finished talking about. So I'm looking here at the topic sheet, and we have one topic on here that's close to the bottom that says, "Is Patrick a jerk?" So I don't know what that one's all about, but I'll let whoever put that one on the list lead into it.
It was my suggestion to put it on there, and I mean, short answer in general, yes. But there's a specific situation that I was just recently in, and I want y'all's opinion of my decision to not partake in this particular thing because of circumstances of the situation. So, I just recently got back from West Louisiana. Let's say that. I'm not going to really call out a city because the people were very nice. The restaurant that we had lunch at was very nice.
There
Food
was
was
some big bags out there.
Yes, there were a few, but this is probably normal for this part of the town. They love to eat out there, so I'm not going to make fun of them because of that, because the food was very good, so I totally get it. Anyway, we're sitting down having it's a very casual lunch. It's like a little not like a diner, but like not like a restaurant or anything like that. And I got a hamburger, and we're all just eating and bullshit and talking stories about the reason we're there and what we're doing and people from the past and whatnot. So I happen to look on the wall, and there's like a flyer printout for this. She's probably a teenage girl that is going through some sort of. She has a disease. I don't know what the disease was, but it's I don't know how severe it is, but they're doing like a fundraiser for her. And they were like, hey, if you want to donate, here's like the Venmo, the PayPal, whatever. And at one point, the waitress at another table was going around and just asking people if they want to leave anything extra for said person and the little girl on their tip or whatever, or make a donation to that. Completely fine. And I was like, you know what? I might, if I have a couple extra dollars in my pocket, I'll just give that, no problem. But then I looked a little closer at the person, the flyer, and the name, and then I realized I'm not donating because I'm going to use a different name to not deal with that because it's not the little kid's, not the little girl's fault, right? So the first name, let's say it was, I'll spell it out, Kourtney, Courtney. Middle name, Klein. Last name, Klins. Now, you can figure this out. I, as one of only, which I was a little surprised, there were two other patrons in the restaurant that looked like me. So I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, no. They're at some, again, not the girl's fault. This goes to the parents. They made a conscious decision to name their daughter with those specific names, to make those initials. And this is not uncommon. This common behavior would not be something I'm not overly surprised by. So now I'm in the dilemma of, I have a little bit of extra money in my pocket. I would just, out of just sheer generosity for someone I don't even know, and this little girl's going through some horrible situation, I would give a little bit of money for the cause. But the other side of me is, no, fuck this. Fuck these parents. I specifically am not doing this because your name. I don't have to really spell it out. You get it. So, am I a jerk for deciding not to give to this cause for this little girl because of decisions of her parents?
I'm gonna say that no, you're not a jerk.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Well, you are a jerk, but not because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I
I
know
think he
what
prefaces with that.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, instantly that comes to my mind is one, it reminds me of, when you're paying at, PetSmart, and it'll say, like, do you want to donate to XYZ? And then you're paying your bill, and you're like, well, fuck no, I'm just paying all this money for this. I don't want to donate any extra money, so you hit no. But in your situation, I feel like you have even more of a reason not to, based upon what you just stated. So no, I'm gonna say no because if as a parent, there has to be a part of you that knows what you're doing when you're naming a child with those initials, and I would say no, you're not a jerk in that situation.
And it's like you said, the area that you were in, you knew that they did that shit intentionally.
Yeah. And for any bingo listener that is not following along, their girls' initials were KKK. And if you didn't know, I happen to be a black male. So the letters KKK don't really jive with me and how I roll.
For those listeners that haven't watched on YouTube yet,
Yeah.
shame on you.
Emphasis on yet.
Yeah. Or if you haven't seen me out in public or out and about or know nothing about me, you can kind of figure out. So yeah, I remember just sitting there and just thinking after I finished, before we got to the actual paying for the bill, I was just like, I would say the audacity of people and parents, but again, we're in the South and we're in West Louisiana. This shouldn't be that shocking to me, but if this little girl's name was Courtney with a C and then the rest was K letter,
Not a problem.
I wouldn't think as much about it. I would have been like, I wonder how close they were to making it happen. But then decided oh wait, I should not be a piece of shit and give my daughter all 3 Ks for her name.
Again, I think there has to be a point of a parent where when you're picking the name, intentionally what you're doing. You already know what name what letter your last name starts with. So the idea that you named your first and middle name with the same initial, you had to have known that.
There's no way it wasn't intentional.
Oh, you're gonna be a little racist, aren't you?
And I feel for the little girl because of whatever she's going through, but then I also feel bad because this is going to be with her for the rest of her life. And now maybe she never moves out of small town Louisiana, no one really gives a shit or cares to a degree because whatever. But if let's say she wants to go to college and move on with her life, and then her employer's like, wait, your initials are what? I got to manage the situation where that's your name and your coworkers, who may happen to be black as well or of any other race, have to be around this. And she could turn to be a great person and not racist at all, but her name is going to go with her for the rest of her life.
I keep on thinking of like there's plenty of like situations where you have to utilize your initials and like not necessarily your middle name, but sometimes sure. I mean, I know for me, I'll use RHS when I'm signing off on a document or a form for stuff, and there's no way that she's not going to know which. She's going to feel terrible. I would hope she feels terrible. So,
but then again, hate breeds hate, so you never know. So this is where I probably am the jerk, and this is where I will sometimes, admittedly, take certain jokes or scenarios too far, and I will also do the goodwill thing of trying to break, let's say maybe break some racial ice, because like I'm very much of the belief that we can joke about a lot of things. Obviously, there's a line. You know where the line is, or you should know. If you don't know, I will politely maybe correct you on like, hey, that's probably a little bit too far, or maybe you should think about this before you say something. However, you can ask Todd. I've done this to him before. I've made certain comments that try to politely, gently walk him up to a line that I want to have fun and play with, and he obviously doesn't take the bait because he's smart. So the jerk part of me was, I'm an asshole, so I'm just going to get to it. So the girl lost her. She had no hair, and my first thought was, man, I hope she's not ashamed of going out in public with like out a wig on and having her hair and getting made fun of because she doesn't have hair because some insensitive kid is just an asshole. And I was like, well, if only there were some sort of hat or a cover or something that she could put on her head to maybe cover up, like a hood of some sorts or anything like that.
like a hoodie.
Sure, if that helps, you get a couple different colors to spruce it up. You know, spring, summertime, you maybe get a color white. It's very light outside. Just jazz it up that. So these are the asshole thoughts running through my head as I'm like, how can I talk myself out of being really pissed off and angry about the situation? I was like, let me find some really not so great humor just for my own sake. It was like, hey, this is a jerk thing. I'm a jerk. So let me just balance out and go flip it the other way. And I was like, man, I could make a donation. I could find some attire that I could donate to the cause and maybe for this child and the family, and maybe they have some already and she just does not. So yeah, that was my experience. And I was like, I'm kind of a jerk. But
So outside of the white hood, would there be something that like some kind of article of clothing that you would counter that with, as far as like
a red hood or a red robe,
or like a Malcolm X T-shirt or something like that?
maybe, probably sleeveless, or maybe like the
Jesse Jackson face T-shirt.
or maybe just the motherland Africa outline silhouette shirt, something like that. But yeah, I was like, I should, when I go there next, I should get the address and information for the family and then maybe send a care package.
All right, so yes, now you're the asshole.
Thank you. I just wanted to hear someone say it.
Look, I mean, I guess my thing is like, all right, well, you don't have to stoop to her parents' level. But again, I think when it comes to that point where do I donate or do I not, and you decide not to, I don't think you're a jerk for that at all. Because again, I feel like there was a lot of thought into putting that name together, and then, as an adult making the decision, I think it was the right one.
Yeah. And again, all jokes aside, because I brought it up more as just like a lighthearted kind of thing that to piggyback off something that was not bothered me, but like just drew the ire of me for a minute. I do feel for the little girl, for what she's going through, both physically, probably emotionally, mentally, with this disease or sickness, whatever she has. I also feel bad for her having to live with that set of initials. But also, I don't feel bad for the parents in the sense of no parent would want to have to deal with whatever this little girl is going through. So I empathize with that part of them as parents because no one would want to deal with that. The rest of their life, fuck them. They can suffer. So no, yes, that's all I got on that. I there's nothing more to it. Maybe I'll come up with a new segment where this will be a recurring thing of like I'm in situations and I need to know, am I the jerk for this? Am I the jerk for that? But this one, I felt like I was going to be pretty universally agreed upon that I was okay with my sentiment on what I saw, what I felt, and my just general reaction to everything.
I think like what Russell said, I don't think you're a jerk unless you start being salty.
Oh, but I love a good salty.
And just in that care package.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't do that because, fingerprints and stuff. I'm probably already on some, like, government list for random other things. Remember, guys, hashtag Proton VPN. Get your needs met securely.
Did you click the wrong link while load managing?
No. My OPSEC is very good. I know how to log into my VPN so that I am not untraceable, but I'm very secure when I go in this demon time. Oh well.
I got one other thing I want to say that kind of piggybacking on that though, because I work off of Jefferson Highway and I come home from Clearview to Airline, and there's the homeless population there. There's panhandlers pretty much almost at like every corner of the Clearview Airline light. So if you pull up next to them and they're standing there with their cardboard sign right in your window, do you give them money or do you just ignore them? Because there's this one guy that's there a lot, and I could tell he's there all day. I mean, his skin is absolutely like sunburned. And he's walking around, he's quoting the Bible sometimes, he's got his cardboard sign sometimes. Somebody gave him a big red plastic cup, Coca-Cola cup, so he had water, I know that. And part of me is like, do I give this man money? I feel bad for him. He's standing here all day, he's sunburned. Maybe at least give him some sunscreen or something like that. But I've never given him money. And I've thought every time I reach in my wallet, I'm like, should I give him money? And I'm like, you know what? I'm working 2 jobs to try and make ends meet here, and this guy's just begging for money.
I think there's always a balance of is because you always hear like the horror stories of people who are panhandling for money and then they turn around and they get into a car or they have actually nice stuff and this and that. So it's always there's always maybe a bit of skepticism about it. Yep. From me in a personal experience, so I live right off of West End and the start of Vet. There's a homeless man that is there all the time, like almost every day.
I bet I know who you're talking about.
He has he has like an artificial leg.
Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe not.
I know who you're talking about.
Every now and then he'll have what I assume what appears to be his daughter or a younger girl with him. And same thing, but it's on my way home if I take that route every day. And for the first, I guess, few months that he showed up, I was like, man, I feel bad for him. And more so because like he has one leg and he has a prosthetic leg, other leg, and that. But he's not like pushy with like, hey, give me like walking up to your window, give me money,
like pressing it on the glass.
Yeah, he just like the people that want to wash your windshield under the interstate by Chop. No, because that's just pushing. Like, hey, I don't want this. Don't start spraying my my windshield with your fucking fluid. And like I don't want this. So just get away from me. I don't. Yeah.
Fluid. Seminal fluid.
Cleaning supply fluid.
It's probably
asshole.
just like gutter water, really.
It's probably the fucking Mexico water. But like, so I see this guy, and like at first I didn't really donate because I didn't know, and then I don't do it very often. But I have from time to time. Like I have like a little spare change like holder like or whatever in my car. I was just like, hey man, this might be all I have to because I don't really keep cash on me. So if it's maybe a bottle of water, I have an extra bottle of water like after playing kickball that we don't use, like hey man, here's a bottle of water, or maybe it's some coins or like that. I don't really give anything of significant value to him probably in general, but I have given him some things. But sometimes I'm like, not today. Or I just don't have anything on me, so I can't help you.
You look at him and you're like, all right.
I kind of sometimes to just other people would do the whole like just look straight ahead at the light or look down at my phone or just stare without making eye contact. And sometimes I feel bad about doing that, but I just don't know.
Well, I think in today's world too, like with debit cards, a lot of people don't carry money on them. So like my change tray is really all I have as far as to give people, and I really don't keep a lot in my change tray anymore in my car. So again, but then a part of me also, I think there was even like a special on it on the news not too long ago where a lot of these panhandlers are intentionally not getting work because they're making enough money doing that. And I think ever since I saw that, I was just kind of like, you know what? There's jobs out there. If people really wanted to work, they could. So again, I don't know what everybody in the world's going through. Some people may have harder times than others, but at the same point, I think from that point, I used to be the guy that would dig in my change tray and give to the people who were panhandling them. But I kind of stopped that maybe a year or two ago just because of the idea of like, all right, like Todd said, I'm working 2 jobs. You can go out there and find something. As a matter of fact, I saw a sign at Tasty Donuts that said hiring immediately. So, I mean, it's just kind of like, obviously you're probably not going to start that day, but you could meet with a manager and get hired pretty quickly. So what's stopping you from doing that? So those are the things that kind of hold me back from that a little bit. Now, when it comes to, something that struck me the other day, since Todd said being pushy, they had a group of guys who were out. It was a Clearview and like West, I want to say it was West Napoleon and Clearview. And they had a group of guys collecting for, I think it was like an AAU basketball team. And they were being pushy as fuck. Like, they were, like, getting up to your window. And, like, when you said you don't have any money, they were like, oh, come on, man, And that's the kind of shit that pisses me off. Because I'm like, and, keep in mind, like, I just paid for my son. I just paid $300 for my son to go to a wrestling camp in North Carolina same day. And these guys are coming up to windows like, oh, come on, man, you don't have anything to spare for us? And I'm sitting there like, I just spent fucking $300. Like I don't have money to give to your team.
My own child.
Yeah, I just donated a shit ton of money for my own kid. So yeah, the pushiness definitely is a turn off as well. So I don't see too much of that among the people panhandling, but at the same point, that's definitely a huge turn off. But yeah, I kind of stopped giving into panhandlers a few years ago just because of the ideas of it. I think there's jobs out there if you really want them.
Okay, I got it. I'm gonna take the high road. I'm still going to be a jerk, but I'm going to take a high road on this. I'm going to get the address for this family. I'm going to send them a care package, but I'm going to kill them with kindness with my care package.
Are you going to monogram
Are you
something?
going to send a picture of yourself and say...
I'm going to include a picture of me so they know who they're dealing with when they receive the nice gesture that I'm going to do for their situation. But they will have to know that I and me and my kind was nice and did this.
I feel like there's
What do you think they do with that care package?
I don't care. It's the fact that they have to look at it and be like, we're conflicted.
They're like, no, we can't accept this.
We
Light it on fire.
Yeah. Like how deep does your hate go? Do you not accept something that could help your daughter in your situation because you probably are a piece of shit? Or do you maybe take a step back and think like, maybe they ain't all so bad?
No, I think they turn it around and be like, good, I'm glad I'm taking money from him.
Probably. They'll probably like, he probably robbed somebody for that money to do this anyway.
I think
they wiped the ass with your picture.
That's fine. That's fine. But for at least 5 seconds, they got to look at a picture of my black ass in disgust and be like, damn, what do we do?
And then when that picture's up in the old page, we'll be like, been there, done that.
Hey, they could turn around and use it and put it as fucking target practice for their shotgun or their AR or whatever. I don't give a fuck. But now they're gonna have to make the dilemma or decision like, damn, so this could benefit us in our situation, but it came from this black guy.
I definitely thought there was going to be a caveat, like I'm going to send him a jersey and in a package of letters, which with her initials that they have to monogram on there or something.
Maybe the jersey. Oh, that's a good idea.
A wasted wagon sticker too.
What if
with this episode?
Follow on Spotify.
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts.
And on that bombshell, wagons out.
Wagons out.